Welcome back to CWC Top Plays. This month, we've managed to assemble a collection of 5 plays that hopefully all members of the OSRS community can enjoy. Without further ado, let's get started. Starting off with number 5, we have Zedzimz, PK defending in an 8v8. The game is tied 2-2 with less than 2 minutes on the clock. Zed's flag is heading through spawn and soon ground as he goes down back ladder. It runs out small doors as Zed runs toward big doors. Slightly ahead, Zed sets and tends at bridge, stalling his flag. At the same time, his scorers push the Zamorak flag through. However, his scorer gets ZGS'd and dies. Zed spears his flag and then moves to pit the dropped Zamorak flag. He runs through his big doors toward supply to dodge an opposing off mage on ground. His teammates K'd the mage out, and Zed is able to secure the score. Meanwhile, his teammates have prevented the other team from scoring. The game ends with a win for Zed's team. Thanks for the submission. In the number 4 position, we have CVBGN, offensive maging in a 6v6. He freezes the opposing mage in spawn as his scorers grab the flag and start heading down. His scorers are frozen on spawn. His own flag comes up spawn. CVBGN chases it upstairs, spearing up 3rd floor, and then landing the freeze. His teammates catch up to help deal damage. He grabs the Zamorak flag and brings it down to block the stairs. His teammates spear and pile their flag, killing it. His scorers able to grab their flag and runs it down spawn as CVBGN freezes some of the other team behind. CVBGN heads back up to grab the Zamorak flag again. His team is trying to coordinate a flag force safe. They meet at the top of back ladder, dropping both flags with the correct timing to safe theirs, right as his scorer dies. His other scorer picks up the Zamorak flag and heads down back ladder toward under as CVBGN freezes some of the Zamorak team behind in the base. His scorer is able to pop up mid and run forward for the score as CVBGN and his teammates continue to keep the Zamorak team behind. This sequence has helped pull CVBGN's team to a 2-1 lead. Thanks for sharing. At number 3, we have Tank, Poogh defending in a 5v5. Tank's flag is frozen on ground. He spears the opposing off mage to get down. He covers small doors as his mage covers big doors / under. Tank gets some hits in over the wall as his flag pulls off toward under. Tank is ahead and meets it at South Tunnel. He uses his 2 explosives to keep it collapsed. After exhausting them, he begins to K'd and tend ahead. At the same time, his scorer heads down with the Zamorak flag. After emptying his K'ds, Tank pulls out his crossbow to snipe the chasing Zamorak mage, killing them, which will unfreeze his scorer across the other tunnel, allowing them to push all the way under. Tank's flag pushes all the way under. However, his stalling has allowed his mage to catch up to land the cast through the tunnel. They deal damage on their flag, killing it. Tank allows his appearing off mage to grab it since he himself is completely out of supplies. He spears the other mage as they're frozen to allow his off mage to push their flag toward their ladder. Each of his teammates are running both flags toward their ladder as Tank snipes an opposing scorer, preventing them from touching either flag. This means his own flag can be held under as they push for the score up supply. His score is low and they are being stalled by an opposing mage. They head around as their mage tries to hold back the Zamorak team. His scorer is frozen and passes to Tank, who is also frozen. Tank passes to his other score as both mages are cleanly cated out and speared, preventing further casts. His score is able to head up back ladder, likely getting the score to pull their team ahead 3-2 mid-game. Thanks for the submission. Number 2, we have Poogh, PK defending in a 6v6. His team is winning 2-1 with less than 4 minutes on the clock. His flag is frozen under mid. His team ambitiously tries to go for the spear to rock from 3 squares away. However, it appears the score pids Poogh on the collapse, so that isn't possible. They've missed out on a lot of potential damage. Poogh uses his last Cades to stall as his mage is speared, but they're able to refreeze in nearly the same spot. Poogh and his team apply damage. He stands under a mage to avoid getting frozen. Their flag is killed. Poogh spears the opposing PK to secure the grab on his flag. He gets a splash and heads up mid. He decides to run it to North Rocks. That's pretty risky since a mage is there holding their own flag. Fortunately, Poogh gets the splash and makes it to Rocks with just 33 HP for the safe. He gets that retribution on to deal some extra damage on the holding mage next to him as he dies. Poogh restocks. The other team is on the rebound and tends Poogh's defense out on ground. Poogh covers small doors as his flag comes down ground. His flag goes back ladder to long alley as his mage splashes. Poogh is able to slam in a pit K to head, smoothly setting and tending the triple lanes. With a pid close on the door for his mages to finally land a freeze right inside. They're able to pile out their flag just in time, closing the doors as it dies to prevent the approaching Zamorak team from grabbing it, securing the safe. Poogh stalks again. The other team rebounds again, but fortunately Poogh's mage lands a freeze on spawn. He stays close, tending spawn as his flag is unfrozen. He spears twice heading down ground, still going wild with the Cades. His flag is refrozen, but it doesn't even matter at this point. The game ends and Poogh's team has won. Poogh must have unlocked some tribal powers in those villager sandals because he absolutely held down on defense to maintain a narrow lead for the last minutes of the game. Thanks for the play. The number 1 spot this month, we have Dan, 311, scoring in a 5v5. The game is tied 1-1 with less than 8 minutes on the clock. Dan's low score passes the Zamorak flag to him on 3rd floor. Dan's down spawn, blowing a Cade double wide, but the PK pids him on exit stairs. Dan uses 2 buckets to blow exit, setting a Cade behind as he is speared with a splash. However, he is frozen on ground by the opposing ahead mage. His off mage tends out the other mage at back ladder and then runs to Dan to get the pass, setting another Cade behind, off stairs. They're able to push it under with another splash on robes. Dan is frozen at bridge. Right as he heads down, he pit spears the furthest chasing mage, preventing a cast on his scoring off mage, and then follows up with a collapse. That's going to be a score all the way under. Dan immediately switches his attention to defending as his other score heads back to get the rebound. His flag is approaching North Tunnel. Dan gets a splash heading toward the tunnel, but he's speared, allowing them to get through. He reacts with a spear though, buying enough time for his chasing mage to land the freeze across. Dan deals damage on his flag, hitting a 55 with the God Sword to kill it. As all 3 of the Zamorak team there are frozen, Dan's able to grab his flag without being speared. Dan's mage deals with the opposing team as Dan barely survives. running back through his tunnel as it's opened, setting a Cade behind. Luckily, he gets hit a 0 as he runs his flag toward his ladder, managing to save with just 20 HP. Dan suicides and restocks. With most of the Zamorak team having been destroyed under, his rebounding score is able to make it through their bridge. He passes to Dan at their big doors, and Dan is able to finish the score for the 3-1 lead with less than 5 minutes on the clock. That nice late game push has turned the tide of the game and should set Dan's team up for the win, which is even more impressive given the statistical disadvantages of his score team. Thanks, Dan. Hopefully you all enjoyed this installment of CWC Top Plays. Stay tuned for more, and please let us know what you liked and what could be improved on for future months. Check out the description for more information on the community and submitters, as well as a link for submitting your own clips. Thank you all for watching.